Jono Naylor.
I move that the question be now put.
No, I'm not prepared to take it. As I indicated earlier, this is a major bill. It only has one part. There are two very important sections of it, and so far people have actually been speaking to it. Ian Lees-Galloway.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. That member over there will never be the Member of Parliament for Palmerston North if the only contribution he can make on a debate about tertiary education is to try and shut it down.
Now what the member is doing now is out of order because he's referring to a ruling that I have made. That's gone. We'll speak to the bill.
Mr. Chairman, if members opposite are wondering why so many members on this side of the House are taking an interest in the provisions in this legislation that refer to the governance of universities, it's because neither the Minister nor any member on that side of the House has been able to provide a shred of evidence as to why these measures are necessary. Not one. Not the Minister who seems to spend most of her time on her phone looking at her texts, possibly deleting them. Not one of the members opposite has got to their feet and told us what is the evidence base. What is the evidence base? What is the international evidence? What is the domestic evidence? Where did this idea come from? Why is it in the interests of our universities to reduce the size of their councils? If we could just have one member give us one piece of evidence. They don't even need to speak for 5 minutes. If they could just stand up and give us 1 minute about why this is a good idea, maybe members on this side wouldn't keep asking the Minister to give us their contribution. Because, sir, this is important to Massey University and to UCOL, the major tertiary education providers in my electorate, because it has a particular effect on those institutions and institutions like them, because they are multi-campus institutions. And when you have to get representation at a governance level that covers the variety of communities of a multi-campus institution, then that immediately restricts the ability to get the other ranges of experience and representation that are required on a council. And we've already seen it with the UCOL Council. When that council was reduced to 8 members, the student representation went and the staff representation went. That was not a decision that either the governance or the management of UCOL wanted to take. Nobody in that institution thought that it was a good idea to remove student and staff representation on their council. But they were in a bind because they have a campus in Palmerston North, they have a campus in Masterton, and they have a campus in Wanganui. And by the time the minister's appointments had been made and they got appropriate representation from those different campuses and ensured that they had the mix of skills that a governance board requires, there was no room left for the student or staff representation. And according to everybody that I have spoken to at UCOL, that is to the detriment of that institution and to the detriment of their ability to show leadership and governance that is in the interest of ensuring that that institution can provide to their community. And if members opposite, one member in particular, thinks that I'm wrong, they should get to their feet and tell us why that is wrong. They should stand up and tell us why that is wrong. But they have failed to do so. Absolutely failed to do so. And that's why the Massey University Council came to the Select Committee and gave their submission absolutely in opposition to this legislation. They opened by saying there is no hard evidence. There is absolutely no evidence that reducing the size of the council will have the effect of making the council more efficient or more effective, or making the institution more effective, or delivering better educational outcomes for the students who study at those institutions. They said that it would create difficulties in achieving the balance of interests and skills, and Massey University will face the same challenge as UCOL faced, because they have a campus in Palmerston North, a campus in Wellington, a campus in Auckland. Very different communities that require very different types of representation. The representation that is encouraged in this legislation. Councils are encouraged in this legislation to make sure they have a mixture of representation that represents the communities that they operate in. Yet at the same time, what this legislation principally does is restricts the ability to ensure that they can do that. And then, of course, we've got the point, they do always say one thing and do another, and then, of course, we've got the point that the Honourable David Parker made and others have made, that the proportion of representation provided, Mr Chairman.
Catherine Delahunty.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. I'm pleased to take another